where residents in Dar es Salaam's coastal community are expressing concerns over the rising sea levels that is said to be, of course, endangering their settlement. Amid this prevailing situation, the World Bank has warned that over $5 billion in infrastructure could perish by 2030 if contagious measures are not put in place. Here's more details of that in this report.
In Tanzania's commercial capital, Dar es Salaam, the Indian Ocean is reclaiming the land. Some beachfront communities now lie abandoned. Their homes threaten to be swallowed by rising tides. Some of the city's 6 million residents face a real threat. The very sea that sustained them is now washing away their future.
We don't live in peace at all, because sometimes the water comes with a strong force that scares us. Water comes from the left and right sides and hits us in the middle. There is flooding all over here, so we stay in uncertainty.
Mwasiti's stories is far from unique. Of the over 143,000 Dar es Salaam residents, 1 in 5 households lives in flood-prone areas, often in informal settlements with no drainage or flood barriers. The World Bank warns $5.3 billion in infrastructure, equivalent to 7% of Tanzania's GDP, is at risk by 2030 if action stalls.
And that impacts the coast in different ways. For example, not only the sea level itself are rising, but also it changes the coastline system, causing, for example, coastline erosion, which impacts, for example, assets, houses along the coast, communities along the coast. And coastline erosion is also impacted by various factors, including, for example, changes to the natural environment, such as mangroves that are being removed, or like coastal structures that are being built, like port infrastructure.
Coastal erosion, accelerated by vanishing mangroves, compounds the crisis. Tanzania has lost 30% of its mangrove forests since 1990, natural barriers that reduce wave energy by 70%. Without them, the ocean's advance is accelerating. This structure was once a family home, but now it's abandoned, slowly collapsing into the rising sea. Locals call these relentless waters bamvua, floods that don't retreat. And they're right, because the ocean keeps pushing inland, destroying houses like this one in the Bezi Beach area. The family that lived here had no choice but to leave. The government, backed by $200 million in World Bank funding, is racing to adapt, building 8 kilometers of seawalls, rehabilitating the Msimbazi Basin, and restoring mangroves. But experts say efforts must intensify.
So there are a lot of factors that can be done with urban planning, also, for example, with infrastructure, making sure that bridges are wide enough, that drainage canals are present along the roads. There's a lot of urban planning aspects that could facilitate to provide for climate change resilience.
World Bank data reveals that coastal floods could displace 2.8 million Tanzanians by 2050. And Dar es Salaam, most vulnerable, are already facing this crisis. As sea levels rise, urgent action is needed to ensure equity and provide a lifeline for those affected by this escalating emergency.